who better than me?
Welcome back to another episode of The Hardcore Casual with your boy, Bass the Kid. As always, please like, subscribe, share with anyone you think it might be applicable to. It's not a huge amount to go through today, but there's a few interesting bits, so I'm gonna keep this one real light and breezy, get through it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I guess I will start with the Jose Ramirez versus Jose Pedraza fight. I didn't watch it live. I did know it was coming on this week, but I didn't realize it was Friday night, so I thought it was another Saturday night card. I actually just finished watching it a few moments ago, and I mean, Ramirez has been out of the ring for a little while, so you kind of got to cut him some slack with regards to that, but he doesn't do great with, you know, people who show different angles, show movement. He's very much someone that if they stand and sort of sit with you, or someone that, you know, doesn't move an awful lot, he seems to do his best work. Now, you can say that about a lot of fighters, to be fair. No one really likes a mover having to cut off the ring and whatnot. But I don't know, the performance just felt a bit sort of laboured to me. I mean, it was good enough, you know. I guess it's some time out of the ring, so now he's kind of got that out of the system, and he can maybe improve on those performances moving forward. I won't really critique it too much because I wasn't watching it with a huge amount of interest. I already knew what the result was. I actually put a bet on just thinking, no, standard just based on the two of them, he should stop Pedraza realistically. So the fact he didn't was a little bit disappointing, so I then didn't go into any huge breakdowns and stuff of it. I was just kind of watching it to watch it. Yeah, I mean, it was a comfortable enough performance, but it wasn't really anything special. I'd like to see a bit more from him moving forward, and hopefully, you know, as soon as Josh Taylor goes up, I'm sure he's going to be campaigning for one or two of those titles again, maybe even trying to go for all four, because it looks like he'll be staying at super lightweight for a little while. But yeah, that was that. I saw the Torres-Melson fight. I literally just watched that as well. It was quite interesting. Pro debut for heavyweight silver medalist from 2020. So yeah, overall, I mean, I didn't see the entire card, so I can't really comment on it, but they were decent enough for, you know, for what Top Rank do these days. Yeah, all good moving forward. Okay, so I've seen several interviews from Anthony Joshua over the sort of the last 12 hours. I believe it was at one of those Deji YouTuber events last night. And it seems to have given interviews basically stating that Angel Fernandez is now his head trainer, or that's who he's been training with like consistently over this last period of time. Now, we all know that Anthony Joshua is very sort of wishy-washy when it comes to answers, so you never quite know if he's being 100% genuine, or if he's just kind of dismissively just giving you a piece of an answer at that particular time. Because the way it kind of sounded to me was like, oh yeah, no, I'm training with Angel Fernandez, and someone's like, oh, so he's your head trainer? Yeah, I'm training with. It sounded like that, like, oh, he's not really listening to the question. He's just, you know, stating his truth at that particular time. So I still don't know if that means that Angel will be like the lead trainer moving forward, or if he's sort of just the one that he's doing his constant work with now, and then when it comes into camp, he's gonna be with the new guy, or the head guy, or even back with Rob. I'm not sure how the whole dynamic is moving at the moment. What we do know is obviously he's talking about this potential interim fight thing, saying, well, look, I need to be active. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you needed to be active, fight should have happened this month. Like, you fought in September. There's no reason you couldn't have not fought in February or March if it's activity you want. Like, the whole 1 to 2 times a year thing, like, if you're claiming that you need to get better, you need to improve this and that, like, the only way you improve is by trial and error. Trial and error happens in the ring, not in training sessions, not, you know, when you're going on holiday, like left, right and center. And don't get me wrong, I mean, you've got the money, do what you need to do. Like, I'm not telling you how to spend it or how not to spend it. Do your thing. If that's what you want to do, cool. But I just find it a bit contradictory when you're like, well, I need to be active. Well, activity comes with in the ring. Like I said, you fought September. You should have fought again in February. Like, the rematch should have been done last month, realistically. That's when Eddie Hearn initially said it was going to be done. So there's no reason why it couldn't have been done then, at latest. Well, it should have been signed for this month, I guess. But having said that, with the whole thing that happened with Russia and Ukraine, maybe it wouldn't have been able to happen right now, so it would have got postponed. And you could have just jumped in and got an interim for the time being and pushed that back. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, that fight should have been signed for like the first or the second week of February. Get it out of the way. Win, lose or draw. Then you know what you need to do moving forwards. And, you know, I feel it's more on Joshua's side than Usyk's side why this whole thing didn't necessarily get resolved as quickly as it needed to be. And that's not saying that anyone's ducking or delaying it, but ultimately you need to be active. I mean, in the last 3 years, you've had 3 fights. It's not great, especially for someone who keeps saying that they're learning on the job. Like, if you're learning on the job, the only way to do that is by repetition. But it seems to be that's the trainer, at least for now. Let's see where it goes. I won't really dwell on it too much. You know, it is what it is. Hopefully it works out. I know everyone's, you know, willing for him to get those titles back. I mean, at this point, I'm just hoping that Usyk makes it out of like the Ukraine with full health intact. And even when he does come back, like, who knows what his mental state is going to be like, to whether he takes you know, whether he thinks about boxing. He could retire. It's not something I'd like to think about, but, you know, with all of these people within his country doing what they're doing, it's a bit of a madness. So I don't know, but let's hope for the best, and let's hope that we get this rematch, because it's long overdue. Okay, so lastly, we had the nice DAZN card on last night. Chocolatito versus Julio Cesa Martinez, coming up from flyweight, 112 pounds, to super fly, 115. There was a bit of drama at the weigh-in. He came in like 1 pound 4 overweight. So he came in at like 116 pounds, 0.4. And Eddie Hearn was saying, oh, well, he took the fight on 6 weeks notice. So, you know, it was, you know, he tried his hardest to get the weight off. So, but in my mind, I'm thinking, well, number one, how big was he when you offered him the fight? And number two, if he normally fights at the weight class below, how long does he normally need to have a training camp to get through that? Because clearly, I mean, I've heard, obviously, he doesn't necessarily live the life outside the ring per se, but, you know, when it comes down to it, he then has to make the weight. But if you know that's your weight class, and now you know that you've got your belt, you've got these opportunities, wouldn't you want to stay a lot closer to that weight than you normally are? I don't know. I mean, if you're not a champion, you can always do catch weights and whatnot. But when you know, when it's sort of championship belts and titles, you know that you always have to come in on that weight. Otherwise, you either lose the belt or you get fined. So, I don't know. I don't see how the whole 6 weeks worth you couldn't get the additional weight off. But that being said, him, I guess, being the naturally smaller guy out of the two of them, or at least even in size, because remember, Chocolatito probably isn't even really a super flyweight. He just didn't want to have to try and continue to make weight at an advanced age, which makes sense. It was it was touch and go, but ultimately he came in over within the 10% limit on the day after weigh-in. I think he had to pay 20% of his purse. 10% went to the WBC or the commission, and then the other 10% went to Chocolatito. So in all fairness, I mean, hey, Chocolatito made out quite well, because that fight was not that difficult for him whatsoever. This was definitely a time when, like, the old master sunned the young lion, like, in a huge way. I mean, the fight, to be honest, I don't think he really got out of first and second gear the entire fight, but it was just effortless. The one thing I will commend Martinez on, he's got heart and he's got grit. because most people, I mean, Fight took a similar type of beating that Martinez did, but he got knocked out from it. Like mentally, he couldn't carry and sustain it. Like Martinez literally was in the middle of the ring, banging his glove, saying, "Okay, let's go, let's go." Now, when it comes to skill levels, obviously they're nowhere near each other. Like Chocolatito is arguably one of the most skillful boxers in the entire world. Like pound for pound, hands down, whoever you want to put in front. Like that is just, his movement is so effortless. It's great to watch. Like the way he just glides into position. Like the way the shoulders are always sort of loose and limber. The head's always moving. The guard is always tight. Even when he gets hit, it's like he just moves with the punch so that he doesn't take full force. The only person I think to truly hurt him in a fight was Ramirez in the second fight, and that's only because his head was like essentially gone from the first fight. He had to change. He felt he had to change his style to make sure that he got the decision on the cards. Because in the first fight, most people will tell you that Chocolatito won that fight but got robbed, and him doing the rematch was like, oh, I can't fight the same way, I've got to fight more aggressive, I've got to stamp my authority on it, and ultimately then gets knocked out because of that. We're going to talk about the Estrada fight, who, look, anyone who knows me knows, to me that was clear as day robbery. Like Estrada didn't win more than 4 rounds in that fight. I've watched it. I watch it almost like once every couple of months because it was just an amazing fight to watch. But again, like almost every time Estrada hit, most of the time he was hitting gloves, he was slipping shots. There wasn't a huge amount that got through, and Chocolatito just had constant pressure on him. It was an amazing thing to watch. It hurts me to watch it because I know what happened at the end. But I like watching it just to watch the dynamics between the two of them. But yeah, getting back to this fight, like I said, massive heart to Martinez. Like he stepped in, coming up a weight division, but ultimately, like, yeah, old master just sunned the young lion, showed him that there's levels to this game, and being a world champion don't necessarily mean that you're that good. It just means that you're a world champion. Because within that whole circle, I would pick Chocolatito to beat almost any of them. The only person I think he needs to stay away from is Bam Bam Rodriguez. Not because he's not as good, but that boy is good, and that boy is young, and he's hungry. And for me, the fact that he's actually a lot lighter naturally, he's actually like a 108-pound guy who's moved up. Like he's already got the speed. He's got the speed advantage as well, and that just might end up being a bit of a long night. Plus, you don't get the same kind of money fighting him that you will get. I heard rumors that Nonito Donaire says that he could make Super fly, and if that's the case, that would be a brilliant fight. I'd love to watch Donaire versus Chocolatito. Realistically, I want the Estrada trilogy because I want that wrong to be righted officially. There's a couple others, but those are some of the names that are kind of coming out of the woodwork at the moment. But you know what? I got an even better idea. Sonny Edwards, step up to Superfly and take on Chocolatito. I'd love that. What do you say, Sonny? Capricorn energy and all of that. You think you could do it? I'd like that one. Alright, so it's enough of that fight for now. Like I've expressed how much of a Chocolatito fan I am. But Mauricio Lara against Emilio Sanchez. That was a good fight as well, for as long as it lasted. It was 3 rounds, but it was 3 very entertaining rounds, and it was literally one of those what you call no skill, just vibes type fights. It was a on the cobbles type thing. There was no setting up shots. There was no trying to jockey for position. It was literally stand in front of the other man, who swings the hardest, who swings first, who connects first. That's literally how the fight was for those 3 rounds. But it was highly entertaining, and yeah, I enjoyed that. I'm actually probably gonna watch it again before I leave out today to hit the gym. So yeah, shout out to Mauricio Lara as well. Let's see. I think that was an eliminator or something for for the belt that Warrington and Kiko are getting for. So hopefully that Warrington trilogy happens as well, because he needs to have some payback for all of those headbutts that happened. But what else? Oh yeah, Solomon Sissoko. I watched it, but I haven't seen the full fight. Like, I wasn't really paying attention, but I know that he got dropped in the 4th round and then dropped the guy in the same round as well. But it went points at the end. So I need to go back and watch that one a bit better. The other fight, there was another fight in there that was a draw. I can't remember the names of the guys, but I remember watching it, or watching most of it anyway. But you know, late night, so you're a bit tired. I want to give a shout out to Skye Nicholson on her debut. I'm not going to talk too much about that though, because there's going to be a separate video dedicating more time to her and some other women coming up on Tuesday. So I'll leave that to that one, but congrats on 1-0. Nice, good performance, like the movement and the style, and I'll break that down in the next one. But look, like I said, short and sweet. I'm not sort of dwelling on this one. I'm going to keep it light, and I will be back on Tuesday with another vid, possibly 2 vids on that day. See how we go for the rest of this one. Got a few bits and pieces I need to do. So again, as I said earlier, please like and subscribe and share with a friend, share with a colleague. You know, keep supporting, share, retweet whenever I'm putting up on Twitter. Leave the comments down below. I want to interact with everyone. I want to get everyone else's takes on what's been going on. So for now, that will do, and thanks for watching. And as always, Hardcore Casual out.